morning, everybody, and thank you so much, Kathy, for that very kind and detailed introduction. I think I need to do some updates on my bio with this new role here. I think I need glasses up here, or maybe a light on, if I can figure it out. No, we'll go with glasses. Well, good morning, and so nice to... It's okay. It's all right. It's okay. I had this memorized. No, not quite. Well, good morning. So happy to be here. It's been a busy morning already. Kathy promised me that there would be no 7 a.m. meetings, and then texted me yesterday and said, could you meet at 7 a.m.? I said, yep, no problem. So it's been great to meet so many new faces already, and I do look forward to being here today and tomorrow and meeting many more. So I'm very happy to be able to address AMM's annual convention this morning on behalf of FCM. And my thanks, as I say, to Interim President Kathy Valentino and Vice President Brad Saluk for the invitation to join you today. I'd also like to note the importance of our gathering on Treaty 1 territory today and acknowledge the First Nations and Red River Métis that had their ancestral home here in Manitoba. The relationship between Canadian municipalities and Indigenous communities is a complex one, but vitally important. At FCM, we are actively working to develop a more meaningful reconciliation strategy based on respect, understanding, and shared progress. We've heard that need resonate loud and clear among our members, and we have begun our journey down that important pathway. This morning, I'm glad to highlight some of the most pressing topics for our communities at what is a vital time for Canadians, Manitobans, our cities, and our rural and northern communities. Needless to say, as things stand, with a federal election in the air, it makes everything a bit more interesting. That said, being a city councillor myself, I know you've got plenty of local issues that are demanding immediate attention. For us at FCM, we see this current federal situation as a window of opportunity, no matter who makes up the next government. Why? Because we see it as an opportunity to put Canadians' needs front and center, with an upcoming election acting as a spotlight on our biggest priorities. Municipal leaders have a vital role to play as local champions, and FCM will make sure that the great work you do in your communities, as well as your most pressing needs, are in the spotlight this fall and winter. We are ready to engage with all federal parties to better support the needs of Canadians. As the government of proximity, we know better than anyone that Canadians and Manitobans are struggling with an affordability crisis and the cost of living. For over a year, FCM has been making the case for how we can make better use of existing tax dollars so we can give struggling families the community services and resources they expect and that they deserve. We need to ensure that when Canadians get up in the morning, they can rely on municipal assets being there for them. However, we're increasingly seeing that infrastructure, including roads, water facilities, public transit, are under more and more and more pressure. When these assets fail, they endanger Canadians, seriously impact our quality of life and local economies, and put enormous pressure on municipal budgets. The seriousness of water infrastructure failures in our communities was made clear over the past summer, with millions of Canadians having to restrict their use of water due to major breakages in Calgary and Montreal. However, the need for improved water infrastructure in smaller cities and rural communities is just as important. We know that rural communities support almost a third of our national public infrastructure without the tax base to fund its upkeep. In Manitoba, across the country, the next generation of infrastructure is so badly needed, and this is underlined by the most recent statistics that show that 14% of municipal infrastructure, including water infrastructure, are currently in poor or very poor condition and requires immediate repair or replacement. And that's why it's so vital for Budget 2025 to allot additional near-term funding for municipal water and wastewater infrastructure, so Canadians, no matter what kind of community they live in, don't have to go through the kinds of infrastructure failures we have seen this year. We recognize the unique needs of our rural communities in particular. That's why there will be a focus on an upcoming rural advocacy paper, which FCM is hard at work on. At FCM, we understand the need to advocate hard and move the needle, and we have worked hard alongside our members to ensure that crucial funds like the Canada Community Building Fund have been protected. We are set to continue this vital work on what is an essential need in our communities. Another deep concern of Canadians remains housing affordability. Put simply, we need to build more homes more quickly to accommodate recent population growth while doing more to prevent and address homelessness in our communities. While building more homes is, of course, essential, this alone is not enough. We also need to tackle housing affordability and steadily increase the supply of nonprofit housing by building on the measures contained in Canada's housing plan. In a closely connected issue, with winter right upon us, communities big and small are bracing for an annual struggle we've grown all too familiar with. The combination of homelessness and harsh winter conditions places an immense strain on our most vulnerable, and municipalities are on the front lines, but homelessness is no longer confined to the big cities. It's become a poignant reality in many mid-sized and smaller towns. FCM focused on this just last month in an online campaign. The allotted federal money in Budget 2024 to help with encampments must flow more quickly to municipalities. We've also made it clear that the federally funded Reaching Home program, which is so crucial for providing wraparound services and supports for those experiencing homelessness, needs to be made permanent. When the resources aren't there to address homelessness, our most vulnerable suffer, and there is no time to waste, and that's why we are taking this on as an urgent action. Providing that security net for those experiencing homelessness is vital, and so is ensuring safe communities. Canadians are understandably worried over rising crime rates, and municipal policing costs are often our biggest rising budget items, and increasingly hard to bear for municipalities. Additionally, FCM is calling for renewed efforts to ensure optimal RCMP staffing and service levels in communities by tackling high vacancy rates, officer burnout, and staffing gaps. Alongside more assistance from the federal government to support policing, we also need better investment in community-based mental health and substance use care. With an effective approach for safer communities in place, police resources could be refocused on growing public safety challenges, property crime, vehicle theft, violent crime, which are all deeply concerning to all of our residents. Now, all these needs I've outlined, there is a way to unlock progress on all of them, and that key is called the Municipal Growth Framework. The current municipal revenue model dates back to Confederation, a time when Canadians got from A to B via horse and cart, and they lit their homes by candlelight. Today, our municipalities provide immensely important services and infrastructure, but they only get 8 to 10 cents for every Canadian tax dollar. So let me be clear, we're not calling for a new tax. Instead, FCM is advocating for better use of existing tax dollars so we can actually deliver what Canadians need. I know we're in tune with AMM in seeking fairness, predictability, and permanent municipal funding. We've been clear that the current situation can't go on, and the impact on Canadians is simply too great. That's why we're asking for a sit-down with all orders of government so we can negotiate for municipalities that predictable, sufficient funding they need to deliver for their residents. Only with that kind of reform can we consistently build, maintain, and deliver the infrastructure and services that make a real difference to Canadians every day. Only with that kind of reform can we move beyond short-term mandate solutions and support a brighter future for Canadians and Manitobans. FCM stands ready to engage with all federal parties to better support the needs of Canada's municipalities. And I want to recognize the efforts that so many local leaders in this room, as AMM and FCM members, have made to tackle these issues. Thank you for being municipal champions in your way for delivering day in and day out services to your residents.